Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
The Grand Forks community and beyond made a point to spend their Wednesday night outside the federal building there to honor the 21-year-old airman who was killed in the Grand Forks Air Force Base in early June. Natasha Aposhan's family says she was a victim of domestic violence. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie joins us live from where the vigil wrapped up a short time ago. Courtney?
Andrea, it was a very somber scene here tonight. Community members gathered to mourn, to honor, and to remember Natasha. They started out the night by doing a spiritual ritual to bless everyone for coming. Later, they took turns speaking of her courage and her bravery. They also took a stand against this kind of domestic violence. And they ended the night by lighting candles as well as finishing with song and prayer. Now, Natasha first came to the Grand Forks base back in April. She was an airman first class, and everyone here tonight says it's important that we share her story.
They did not live to become symbols of a broken world, but they are symbols of the fact that many women, and especially women of color, are not safe in their homes and in their workplaces.
I believe that Natasha is not getting as much attention as she deserves. I don't think that her family is getting the justice that they deserve yet. And I think that we need to bring more attention to what's happening in America with women in the Air Force and in the military.
What made you want to come out to the vigil tonight?
We got to show support for everyone. So there's power in numbers, and we got to help the family. And if they want answers, then I'm here to show my support and stand by their side.
It's important that those of us that live here and were raised here and born here acknowledge sacrifices that people make when they come into the community, and to include them into our larger group of people.
Now, Natasha's family lives in Arizona. That is where she's from, but they're sending their gratitude up here. They want to say thank you to everyone who came out tonight to ensure that Natasha is not forgotten. Live in Grand Forks, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
All right, Courtney, thanks for that live report. To learn more about Natasha's story and how you can get involved, you can download the VNL News app. A Fargo civil rights group is speaking out against the Fargo Police Department after it concluded there was no evidence to support claims that officers illegally searched a 19-year-old man. Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay breaks down the 18-page document from Fargo Police that explains what led to their conclusion.
19-year-old Larry Pope Jr. spoke out at a press conference July 7th, recalling what he said was an illegal stop and search by the Fargo Police Department on June 22nd.
And I asked them again, why did you guys do this? And they said, I look suspicious because only thugs wear string bags.
Pope filed a formal complaint, and the Fargo Police Department began their investigation. Their conclusion, the claims are unfounded. In the 18-page report, Sergeant Shane Aberly of the Office of Professional Standards outlined his conversation with Pope. The report shows Pope said several times that people were pushing him to report the issue until he caved. Also, according to the report, Pope said multiple times that he may have imagined the situation. The report goes on to say, according to GPS devices, there were no squad cars located in the area at the time and place that Pope said he was stopped. One Fargo spoke out against the report, expressing their concern that the investigating officer, Sergeant Aberly, was placed on leave after the fatal shooting of a West Fargo resident in 2018, and that Pope was never asked to identify the officers who were allegedly involved in his incident. They also said that Wes Filame, friend of the Pope family and organizer of One Fargo, never pressured Pope to do anything he wasn't comfortable doing. In Fargo, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
The Fargo Police Department used GPS, a daily roster of the day in question, and traffic cameras, among other things, to complete the investigation. We reached out to Larry Pope, his girlfriend, and Wes Filome for a comment, but have not heard back yet. You can read the full report on the VNL News app. Results from a Fargo Public Schools parent and staff survey show the majority of parents want their kids back in the classroom this fall. Meanwhile, staff say they would rather have the hybrid approach. One Fargo mother says as much as she and her children would like to be back on a normal schedule and start the school year in person, it's just not the right time. She says there would have to be mandatory deep cleaning and hand washing by all at least every hour in order for her to consider sending her children back.
Because right now, having all those kids at school at once, there's no way the numbers will not climb.
To see the breakdown of the survey, you can find this story on the VNL News app. Leaders on the Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota say they're disappointed by a federal appeals court decision to allow the Dakota Access Pipeline to continue pumping oil during the ongoing court battle and environmental review. A former tribal chairman says the decision could have been influenced by the negative comments made by state leaders.
It's heartening to see the judge go back and forth on this issue, allow for influence on his decisions when he should be looking at what is the law and what does the National Environmental Policy Act say.
The tribal chairman says he believes the appeal will make its way to the Supreme Court, where he assumes the court will side with the tribe. Tribes may have another concern as President Donald Trump announced rollbacks to one of the biggest environmental protection laws in the country. The president says he's modernizing the 50-year-old National Environmental Policy Act. The deregulations President Trump has announced will speed up infrastructure projects like power plants, new highways, and most notably for North Dakota, the construction of pipelines. The changes to the act will decrease the number of projects that are subject to environmental review and set hard deadlines for how long the reviews can last. Instead of taking anywhere from 5 to 20 years, the reviews must be completed in 1 to 2 years. It would also loosen requirements for a project's environmental impact from looking at long-term effects to only those in the foreseeable future. Lawmakers here say these changes will greatly affect projects in the state.
New highways under this rule, you have to have that environmental review done within 2 years. That's important so that we can make those investments, move forward, and build new modern infrastructure.
Other state lawmakers point out the changes could make it harder for minority communities to oppose construction projects. A new COVID-19 model is allowing people to calculate their risk of catching the virus when attending various sized events in their county. Georgia Tech's interactive map allows users to choose a county anywhere in the U.S., choose the event size, and then calculate the risk that at least one COVID-19 positive person will be present. But local experts say to take graphics like these with a grain of salt, as there are a lot of factors that go into getting and passing on the virus.
If you have a crowd of 100 outside, the risk is definitely lower. And then it also depends on how many people are wearing a mask and how many are not wearing a mask and how many are actually coughing.
The model shows a 100-person event in Cass County gives a 76% chance that someone in attendance will be COVID positive. But Dr. Nagpal says it's hard to know how accurate that is. The North Dakota Department of Health has confirmed 72 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the active case count to 717. No new deaths have been linked to the illness, keeping that total number at 88. There are currently 42 patients hospitalized for the disease. Over 3,700 are listed as recovered. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 578 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the active case count to 4,045. 8 new deaths are also reported, bringing the death toll to 1,515. Over 38,000 Minnesotans are listed as recovered. Looking for a fun and safe way to get out of the house? Well, take a look at this. It's a new mobile dining restaurant in the Fargo-Moorhead area called The Little Bistro. You can set up a date night wherever you want. Owners at Gathered say the idea was COVID-19 inspired. They'll drop the trailer off at a location of your choice for up to 2 hours. It comes with a cheese plate and either a bottle of wine or 2 crowlers of beer from Soul Avenue Kitchen and Junkyard Brewing. Pricing starts at $200, but it varies on how many people are in your party. The trailer holds up to 6.
It's all contact free. So again, this is born out of COVID. What are people wanting out of this time? How can we serve people? How can we give them something fun to do, something to look forward to, something different?
If you're interested in learning more about The Little Bistro, you can download the VNL News